Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video, we'll be doing the full review for the iPhone 8 Plus. And I have been using this device for almost 20 days, and 15 days I actually used it with my primary SIM, and I gave it the whole experience. In fact, I also used it with the Apple Watch. But before we dive into the review and I divided between the pros and cons, what I liked about this device and what are the things that I did not like. As you can see, this wall, and it's got that special effect, and this was done by our decor partners, that's Asian Paints, and this is actually the Royal Play wall fashion, and you can also spice up your wall using that. Now let's jump into the review, and let's start with what are the things that I really liked about this device. And overall, it's a very good phone, but as you can see from the title, it is sort of boring, and I'll get back to that later why in the cons section. But let's start with what I liked. And the first thing that I liked about this one is again the build quality. Like earlier iPhones, this one also has got a very good build quality, but one thing to note is that it has some heft towards it, so it feels slightly on the heavier side, and the back is also glass, so you got to be careful. But because of this glass, we have that wireless charging. I'll talk about that later. And again, this one retains the design of the earlier iPhones. Like, in fact, from the last 4 generations, the design is very similar to this one. It also has the Touch ID, and again, as you expect, the Touch ID works well. So if you're used to this is very reliable. I would say it worked almost 100% of the time. But in one area, I noticed that the Touch ID does not work. If your fingers are slightly moist, then it does not work. But apart from that, as you can see, it works almost every time. Now, one thing I really liked about the iPhone 8 Plus, and even the iPhone prior generation iPhone 7 had that, was it has that dual speaker setup. This one also has that dual speaker setup, but Apple has sort of even improved on this one. And I would say it's slightly louder, and now it also has a little bit of bass towards it, because I noticed that unconsciously. I actually traveled to US just about a couple of weeks ago, and I was carrying this phone as my primary driver, and I always carry a portable Bluetooth speaker, but unconsciously I didn't take out my Bluetooth speaker when I was traveling, and I was listening to a lot of music and videos via this. So the stereo speaker setup is actually very good, one of the best that I have noticed on any smartphone still date. So excellent job by Apple. Now, what I have noticed regarding the battery, here also I'm very impressed. Don't go by milliamp hour rating. If you compare it, the milliamp hour rating with Android phones, this one does not have that huge milliamp hour rating, but the battery life that I was getting on this 8 Plus is amazing. I would say if you compare it with the flagship smartphone, generally flagship smartphones don't have that great battery life, but that was not the case with this one. On this one, I would say it was easily lasting for about 1.5 days with even sort of heavy usage. With general flagship smartphones, at the end of the day, I used to always hover around anywhere between 15 to 25% of the battery life based on my usage. But on this one, at the end of the day, I was hovering always between 45 to 55% battery life left, so it can easily last for about 1.5 days. So the battery life is actually one of the biggest plus points with this 8 Plus. I'll talk about the charging later on. It's in the con section, and I'll justify why. But now if we move to another thing, and again, you are sort of used to this one if you are coming from the iPhone 7. This one also does not have that headphone jack, so I sorely miss that. And Apple does bundle these earphones. They have that lightning connector, and the good thing is that the audio output via this was actually really good for bundled earphones. General bundled earphones, even with other premium smartphones, are not that good. This one is actually good in terms of sound output. I don't know why, but it doesn't fit in my ears. It might be just me. After 20 minutes, I feel it's uncomfortable, but in terms of sound output, it's very good. But if you already have some good pair of headphones like I have, you have to use that dongle, and the output via the dongle was also good. So again, it's sort of a compromise. I hate that many of the smartphones now, the flagships especially, are omitting that headphone jack, and I feel that's a stupid move. But yeah, you got to live with that one. Now, I also like the fact that almost all iPhones come with this physical sliders for notification, and I really like that fact. Even on Android, OnePlus does that, and I feel it's a good addition that these phones have. So actually started using this one quite a bit, and that works. Also in terms of what you say build, as I've told you, very good build quality, and the buttons give very good tactile feel. So in terms of build quality, I don't have any complaints. Now moving to iOS 11, this comes preloaded with iOS 11, and iOS 11 is actually pretty new, and I would say it's sort of buggy. Currently, the stable version at the time of recording this video is iOS version 11.0.3, and I would say the performance has improved a little bit, because the earlier prior version, the iOS 11.0.1 and 2 were very buggy. I was actually getting stutteriness and lagginess on the iPhone 8 Plus, and I think so that is because of iOS, because my iPad Pro, this is the iPad Pro that I use, that also started lagging a little bit after iOS 11. So I feel a little bit of lagginess and bad memory management that I was noticing when I was using this phone is due to iOS. And I've heard that the iOS version 11.1, which is currently in beta, solves that issue. So again, I'm hoping that the little bit of stutteriness that I was noticing and bad RAM management should be solved with the iOS update. But it was very surprising that the RAM management was not that great on the iPhone 8 Plus with the current iOS 11. Now moving to the camera. The camera, again, still the 12 megapixel, and on the 8 Plus we have the dual camera implementation. One is the wide one and second is the telephoto lens. I won't go in depth regarding the camera because I've already posted a dedicated video covering its camera aspects when I was in US, the real camera experience. So link for that video will be there in the YouTube description, so you can check it out. If you talk about the rear facing camera, yes, certainly it produces very good results, but in low lighting I expected it to do slightly better. Again, check out that other video that I posted. And also I would say this one, the Plus model, because it has that telephoto lens, yeah, obviously it has that portrait mode, but this also has that new lighting effects, and I would say it's sort of cool in the first two modes, but the other ones are sort of gimmicky. So again, it's up to you, you'll use it or not, but that feature is also there. But if you want those portrait mode and the lighting effect, sadly you have to go with the Plus model. The regular iPhone 8 won't have those features. And I also still love the 3D touch functionality. You can press some icons to get more info, for example calling and others, quick settings and also things. And I feel, yeah, it's a good addition. And also while typing, you can actually, let me just show you, let's say you have this keyboard, you can just press on this and move the cursor here and there like a trackpad. So it's a huge time saver. So I like this 3D touch functionality that it has. And also it doesn't have the normal vibration motor. iPhones have this known as Taptic engine, and they give you a lot better feedback in my opinion. So these were the good things that I liked about the iPhone 8 Plus. Now let's move to the things that I did not like. And the first thing is regarding the camera. Don't get me wrong. Again, I'm going to compare this with other flagship devices. Front-facing camera, I would say Apple has to up their game. The front-facing camera is not bad, but it's not among the best in my opinion. For example, the Note 8 has a far better front-facing camera. So yeah, Apple has to really improve the front-facing camera in my frank opinion. Now moving to the charging, surprisingly this iPhone 8 and even the 8 Plus do support fast charging, but the charger what is supplied in the box simply does not support fast charging, and it's an extremely slow charger. When this was around 4%, I used the supplied charger that came in the box, and it took almost 3.5 hours to charge it completely, which is insane. It's just really slow. And I don't get the point, why didn't Apple just include the fast charger in the box? It's not like the iPhone is cheap. In India, this is selling for 73,000 rupees. So it is silly that Apple is not bundling a fast charger. But again, if you have iPads and stuff, I noticed that if you use an iPad charger, it does charge it significantly faster. And even if you don't have, again, it's a tip, don't have an iPad or something, if you have any old Android phone that supports 2 amp charging, charge it with that. It does charge a lot faster than the supplied charger that Apple has given. But a big bummer, I would say, Apple simply didn't give a fast charger in this. And again, I know if any flagship Android phone doesn't give a fast charger, we get really mad. But again, as it's Apple, we are just letting it go. But I feel it's a crappy move by Apple. Even the iPhone X that's going to launch soon does not have a fast charger bundled in the box. Now moving to the design, you guys must be noticing that it is an old dated design, and in 2017 these thick bezels just make the phone look outdated. Again, it's almost a 4-year-old design. And to show you that, this is actually an iPhone 7 Plus case. And I'm just going to put this in the case, and you'll notice that it fits in perfectly. So as you can see, the dimensions are almost the same as the iPhone 7 Plus. In fact, it's the same. So again, Apple didn't put a lot of attention in terms of design. Again, I think so they have left that for the new iPhone X. So I feel though the price is so high, the design is sort of outdated. Again, lastly, coming to the price, this is priced in India at 73,000. I can get it. Yeah, they didn't want to change the design, but they could have gone with the AMOLED screen. It still has a IPS LCD screen. Don't get me wrong, the screen quality is actually good, and even in outdoor sunlighting, it is easily visible. But still, considering the price point, almost every other flagship smartphone at this price point is giving an AMOLED screen. But still, Apple decided to go with the IPS LCD screen. So for the price, I couldn't justify that, and it's still a 1080p screen. And lastly, if you're going to get this device, this is from personal experience, guys, get a case. Because it's sort of heavy and I almost dropped it. And if you drop it, now you have twice the chance of cracking the glass, the back and the front. So again, get a case. But again, already the phone is so bulky. Adding a case, as you can see, it makes it look even bulkier. So this was my review of the iPhone 8 Plus. And by the way, I have also been using this Apple Watch, and I have to say now it's more than like almost 14 or 15 days since I've been using this Apple Watch. And I have to say this is one of the best smartwatches that I've used. But again, we'll talk about that in another video. So guys, that's it for now for this iPhone 8 Plus review. Do let me know what do you think about the same. And if you're still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.